Welcome you all. In this video, we are going to discuss about incidence matrix of a given network or a graph. In general, there are three types of matrices available in graph theory. They are incidence matrix, tie-set matrix, and cut-set matrix. Here, the second matrix, tie-set matrix, is also known as loop matrix. These are used for mesh analysis. And similarly, the cut-set matrix is used for nodal analysis. We will discuss more about these two matrices in coming videos. This video is fully focused on incidence matrix. How to find incidence matrix by applying KCL at each node of the graph, and how to find out incidence matrix in simple way. And finally, we will discuss how to draw graph of the network if we know the incidence matrix of a graph. Let's see all these things in detail. First of all, let's see the first one, that is incidence matrix. This may be of two types. It is full incidence matrix or complete incidence matrix, and it is denoted by AI, and reduced incidence matrix, and it is denoted by A. So AI matrix is full incidence matrix or complete incidence matrix. A matrix is reduced incidence matrix. So what is incidence matrix? In general, incidence matrix is the matrix representation of the given graph or the given network. Using this matrix, it is possible to rebuild the graph of the network. To see how to obtain incidence matrix by applying KCL at each node of a graph, first, let's consider an electrical network shown here, this one. To find incidence matrix, it is essential to draw the oriented graph of this network. In order to draw the oriented graph, first of all, we need to identify number of nodes and branches of this given network. How many nodes are there? There are 4 nodes. This is first node. This is taken as second node, and this is taken as third node, and finally this is the fourth node. So in this case, number of node n is 4. Similarly, how many branches are there? Between node 1 and 4, we can have first branch. Let's mark in this manner. Then between 2 and 4, we can have the second branch. Between 2 and 3, we can have third branch. Between 1 and 2, we can have fourth branch, and so on up to 6. So totally we can have 6 branches. To draw graph of this network, first of all, we need to mark all nodes like this. So the step 1 is draw all nodes. Here we can have 4 nodes. We need to mark the nodes like this. So next step is we need to replace all passive elements and voltage sources by short circuit line or simply line segment. So all these branches are passive elements or voltage sources that we can replace by short circuit line or simply line segment. So in between 1 and 4, we can replace these circuit elements with a straight line like this. So this is one line segment or one branch. So likewise, we can complete this graph. So this is a graph where current direction is not marked through the branches. So it is non-oriented graph. As we need oriented graph of this network, it is essential to assume current direction in each branch of this network. Let's assume branch current in network first of all. Then we can mark the same in graph also. Say each branch current are marked in this manner. Say current through branch 1, branch 4 and branch 6 is living away from node 1. Similarly, current through branch 2 is entering towards this node 2, and so on like this. The same current direction is reflected or marked in this graph also. Then this graph becomes a directed or oriented graph. As this graph is oriented one, we can proceed with incidence matrix. As mentioned earlier, there are 2 ways to explain the building procedure of incidence matrix. First one is by applying KCL at each node. For this, first of all, we need to assume current through branches by say IB1 is equal to I1. That is, current flowing through branch 1 is represented by IB1, which is equal to I1, small I1. Similarly, IB2 is equal to I2, and so on. IB6 is equal to I6. So we can mark in this manner. After that, we can apply KCL at each and every nodes. And another important thing is, we can mark the potential across each branch based on the current direction. For example, current direction in branch 1 is like this. That is, the current is leaving away from node 1. So the potential at this point, that is, potential at this point is higher than this point. Likewise, all potentials are marked across each and every elements like this based on the current direction. So VB1, VB2, VB3, etc. VB6 represents potential across each and every branches in this network. The same thing is marked in this graph also. Next, very important thing is regarding sign of current in each branches. It is assumed based on direction of current in branches with respect to a particular node. The rule is like this. If current is leaving from a node, then that current is taken as positive. If current is coming towards a node, and that current is taken as negative. For example, if we are considering node 1 with respect to node 1, the branch current I1, I4, I6 are going away from this node. So it is leaving from the node. So these branch current I1, I4, I6 are taken as positive. So when we are applying KCL at node 1, the equation becomes IB1, that is I1 plus I4 plus I6 is equal to 0. So how to take the sign of this current, that is clearly mentioned over here. If this is the situation, that is current is leaving away from this node, that current we need to take it as positive. If current is entering or coming towards this node, then that current need to take as negative. So corresponding to node 1 KCL equation already I explained. Now let's consider node 2. In node 2, branch 4 and branch 3s are incidenting. Here branch 2 is incoming. Similarly, 4 is also incoming. So their current direction is negative. That current is taken as negative. That is minus I2 and minus I4, like this. Then this current I3 is leaving from this node. So it should be taken as positive. So this is the nodal equation or KCL equation at node 2. Similarly, when we are applying KCL at node 3, here two incoming currents are there, that is I6 and I3s are incoming. So their sign should be negative like this. Then I5 is leaving away from this node 3, so it should be positive. Similarly, when we are considering node 4, the branches connecting with node 4 is 1, 2 and 5. Here I1 and I5 are incoming current, so it should be taken as negative, minus I1 and minus I5. And I2 is going away from node 4, so it should be taken as positive, so plus I2. So this is equation number 1. Equation number 1 is based on the node and corresponding incidence branch currents. If we are representing equation number 1 with all the variables, that is I1 to I6, then this equation can be represented in this manner. So other entries coefficient should be 0 under this case. It is very easy to represent this equation in matrix form. The coefficient of this equation gives a matrix, then that matrix is known as complete incidence matrix AI. So this is complete incidence matrix, and this vector is current vector, that is branch current vector. So we can represent this matrix as AI and this current vector as IB, branch current vector. So what is the size of AI? Here the size of AI is 4 by 6. What is 4 here? 4 represent number of nodes. What is 6? 6 represent number of branches. Clear? So the size of complete incident matrix is, in general, it is n by b, where n is number of nodes and b is number of branches. And here the size, how many branches are there? 6 branches are there. So 6 branch current will be there. So the size of these branch current matrix is 6 by 1. So if we are multiplying two matrices having size 4 by 6 and 6 by 1, or in general n by b matrix is getting multiplied with b by 1 matrix, what is the output matrix size? Output matrix size should be n by 1. In this case, we are multiplying a matrix which is having size 4 by 6 with 6 by 1 matrix. So the output matrix size is 4 by 1 matrix. Since all the output is 0 for all 4 equations, so it is a 4 by 1 matrix with all entries are zeros. So this matrix is known as complete incidence matrix. It is also known as augmented incidence matrix. Now let's take this matrix alone in order to see the property of this particular matrix. So this is your incidence matrix. Now I am going to add these column entries, all the column entries I am going to add. If we are adding each columns 1 minus 1, the output is 0. The sum is 0. Here also sum is 0, sum is 0, sum is 0, sum is 0 here. So what is the inference? Algebraic sum of column entries of complete incident matrix is 0. So this property we can effectively utilize to reduce the computation burden. This is one of the very important properties of incidence matrix. By utilizing this property, it is possible to remove any one of the row from this incidence matrix, that is complete incidence matrix, so that during the required case or time, we can retrieve or recover or rebuild that deleted entry from this matrix using this property. So the matrix obtained from complete incidence matrix after removing any one of the row entries from the complete incidence matrix is termed as reduced incidence matrix. The matrix obtained from complete incidence matrix after removing any one of the row entries. Usually we are preferring the last row, that is corresponding to reference node. Then the remaining entries or remaining matrix, this part is known as reduced incident matrix. It is denoted by A. So what is the size of reduced incidence matrix in general? It is n minus 1 into B. In this case, we can have 4 nodes, so it is 3 by 6. Now let's see a simple way in order to find out incidence matrix, complete or reduced incident matrix. We know the size of incidence matrix is node by branches, that is n by b. So let's consider this graph. In incidence matrix, the matrix entries, the coefficients are either +1, -1 or 0. How to fix +1? When to provide -1? When to provide 0? For that we can have some rule. That rules are written over here. If branch current leave from the node, then the value of the element is taken as 1. If the branch current is enters or incoming to the node, if current is incoming to a particular node, then corresponding entry in matrix is taken as -1. Similarly, if branch is not incidence on a particular node, that value is taken as 0. For example, in this case, first node, when we are considering first node, the incidence branches are branches 1, 4, 6. So corresponding to 1, 4, 6, this +1 or -1 will be there based on the current direction. If current is leaving from the node, that entry is taken as positive. If current is coming towards this node, then that entry is taken as -1. Let's see how to build incidence matrix of this graph by using this rule. As we know, the size of incident matrix, complete incidence matrix is n by b. In this case, 4 nodes are there and 6 branches are there. So the size of incidence matrix is 4 by 6. So likewise, we need to fix the column entries and rows. Each node we need to consider, and corresponding to each node, what are the incidence branches that we need to identify. Corresponding to node 1, we know branch 1 is incident and branch 4 is also incident and branch 6 is also incidence with node 1, and all the entry currents are living away from this node. So what is the sign of these currents? That is taken as +1 like this. So 1 indicate +1. So corresponding to branch 1, 4 and 6, the entries are taken as +1, and those branches which is not connected to node 1, that entry in corresponding matrix is taken as 0. So this is corresponding to node 1. Next, we need to consider node 2. What are the branches incidence on branch 2? We can see branch 2 is there, branch 3 is there and branch 4 is there. So branch corresponding to branch 2, we need to identify the direction of current. Since the current is incoming towards this node, it is coming towards this node, it should be taken as negative. And corresponding to 3, it is living away from this node, current is living away from this node 2. So I3, that current is taken as positive as mentioned earlier. So its coefficient is actually coming over here. So it is taken as +1. Then corresponding to 4, that current is coming towards this node. So that entry is taken as -1. And all other branches are not incidence on node 2. So it is 0. They are zeros. Similarly, when we are considering node 3, I5 is living away. So its coefficient is +1. And I3 and I6 are incoming. So their sign is -1 like this, and all other entries are zeros. Similarly, when we are considering node 4, here I5 and I1 are incoming. So their entry is negative like this, and I2 is going away from this node. So its sign is +1. So corresponding to branch 2, it is +1 and remaining entries are 0. So this is the incidence matrix, that is complete incidence matrix of this graph. As mentioned earlier, the algebraic sum of column entries of complete incidence matrix is 0. This is 0, this sum is 0 and so on. All column entry sum is 0, 0, 0. So that is one property of incidence matrix AI. Algebraic sum of column entries of AI is 0. Another important property is determinant of incidence matrix of a closed loop is 0. So you need to prove that one. Then these things already we discussed. How to obtain reduced incidence matrix A? Remove any one row. Usually we are preferring reference node. Then the remaining matrix is called reduced incidence matrix. So it is easy to recover the deleted entry. Or in other words, removal of one row from complete incidence matrix doesn't lose any information. And the size of reduced incidence matrix is n-1 into B. That also we discussed. Now let's see another example in order to obtain incidence matrix of this graph. Here number of node and number of branches are clearly mentioned. Number of node is 4. Number of branches are 6. We know the size of complete incidence matrix is n by b, that is 4 by 6, and size of reduced incidence matrix is n-1 into b, that is here 3 by 6. So in order to build incidence matrix, we need to refresh these rules. If a branch current is living away from a node, then that entry corresponding to that branch is taken as +1. Similarly, if current is, that is branch current is coming towards the node, then corresponding entry you need to take it as -1. And the branch is not connected to a particular node, then corresponding to that branch we need to take the entry as 0. So let's take node 1. What are the branches incidence on this node? They are 1, 4, 5. So corresponding to 1, 4, 5, we marked 1 like this. Next, we need to identify the sign of these ones, whether it is positive or negative. For that one, we need to monitor the current direction from this node. So this current, branch 1 current is leaving away, branch 5 current also leaving away. So corresponding to branch 1 and 5, these entries are positive like this. Then corresponding to branch 4, this current is coming towards this node, that is taken as negative. So this is corresponding to node 1. Next we can take node 2. Corresponding to node 2, the incidence branches are 1, 2, 6, 1, 2 and 6. And here we can see that corresponding to 2 and 6, currents are going away from this node. So corresponding to 2 and 6, this sign is plus 1. Then corresponding to branch 1, this current is coming towards this node, so it is taken as minus 1, and all other entries are zeros as mentioned earlier. Then corresponding to node 3, incidence branches are 2, 5 and 3. Here 2 and 5 branch currents are incoming. So corresponding to 2 and 5, the entries are minus 1. And third branch current is going away. So corresponding to third branch current, it is taken as plus 1. So corresponding to fourth node, incidence branches are 3, 4, 6. Here 3 and 6 are incoming. So corresponding to 3 and 6, minus 1 will come. Corresponding to 4, it is outgoing from node 4. So corresponding to fourth branch, it is plus 1. So this is the complete incidence matrix. Now we can find out reduced incidence matrix by removing any one of the row entry from this complete incidence matrix. Usually we are eliminating last entry. So if we are removing this last row entry fully, the remaining matrix is this one. This is reduced incidence matrix. Similar to last video, you need to do this work also. Obtain incidence matrix of the graph or network shown in figures. You need to find out both complete incidence matrix and reduced incidence matrix for these 4 cases. Now let's see how to build graph of a network from the given incidence matrix. So for the incidence matrix shown below, draw the graph. Let's see that one. So first of all, let's see whether this incidence matrix is A or AI. How to find out that one? If we are adding all column entries of this matrix, if we are getting 0, then this is a complete incidence matrix. Otherwise, it is reduced incidence matrix. So as seen here, the first column entry sum is not 0. So it is A matrix. This is A matrix, reduced incidence matrix. So how to find out complete incidence matrix from this reduced incidence matrix? Utilizing that property, we can find out complete incidence matrix AI. In this case, let's mark our notation corresponding to node. We can mark our notation, say this is first node, second node, third node and fourth node. And there should be one reference node, let it be node 5. That we need to, that entry corresponding to fifth row entry, we need to find out. So it should be minus 1 based on that property. Here also minus 1, here also minus 1, here also minus 1. And this is already 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is a complete incidence matrix. How many nodes are there? Here we can have 5 nodes. Let's mark first node like this, second node, third node, fourth node and fifth node like this. You can mark in another direction also. That's not a matter. Anyway, we need to mark 5 nodes like this. So this is first node, second node, third node, fourth node and fifth node. So let's take branch 1. This is branch 1. It is connecting between, branch 1 is connected between first node and fifth node. So let's mark in this manner. It is connected between node 1 and 5. Now let's fix the direction. So here it is seen that with respect to node 1, this current is, this entry is plus 1. So plus 1 indicate current is going away from this node. We are considering node 1. So with respect to node 1, this is plus 1. Plus 1 means current direction with respect to node 1 for this branch is away, going away from this node. So the current direction is this one. Let's see whether it is correct for node 5. So here the entry is minus 1. So how minus 1 will come? If the current is coming towards this node, which node we are considering? Fifth node. Corresponding to fifth node, this current is coming towards this node, so it is negative. So it is okay. So in this way, we need to find out the line segment corresponding to each branch. Let's see one by one. So corresponding to branch 2, now we are considering branch 2. It is connected between node 2 and node 5. It is connected between node 2 and node 5. Now what is the direction? It is going away from node 2 and coming towards this fifth node. So the current direction is this one. Going away from node 2, that's why this is +1. And it is coming toward this node 5, so it is -1. Similarly, corresponding to branch 3 is connected between node 3 and 5. It is connected between node 3 and 5. And what is the direction? It is starting from node 3 and coming towards node 5. Clear? It is going away from node 3 and coming towards node 5. So this is second one, this is third one. And fourth branch is connected between node 4 and 5. It is going away from node 4 and coming towards this node 5. So current direction is in this manner. This is branch 4. So what is the next branch? Next branch is fifth branch. It is connected between 1 and 2. It is connected between 1 and 2. What is the direction of current? It is going away from node 1 and coming towards node 2. So this is the direction of current. Sixth branch is connected between 2 and 3. It is connected between 2 and 3. We can mark like this. It is going away from node 2 and coming towards node 3. So this is the direction of current. Next one is branch 7. It is connected between node 3 and 4. We can mark in this manner. Then what is the direction? It is going away from node 3 and coming towards node 4. So this is the direction of current. Next one is branch 8. Branch 8 is connected between node 1 and node 3. It is connected between node 1 and node 3. We can mark in this manner. We need to mark the current direction. What is the current direction? It is going away from node 1 and coming towards which node? Node 3. So this is the current direction. So this is the oriented graph corresponding to this reduced incidence matrix. So in this manner, if you know either incidence matrix, complete incidence matrix or reduced incidence matrix, you can build the oriented graph of that incidence matrices.